She shattered me, so I made sure everything she built came crashing down. It all started around 10 years ago when I was engaged to a woman I had known for nearly a decade but had only been in a relationship with for about a year. We will call her Nancy McFay in Dunbag. Everything seemed solid. She had the ring she always dreamed of. We shared a comfortable home. We both had steady jobs and the wedding plans were coming along without a hitch. Then about 2 months before the big day we found out we were expecting a baby, and I had never felt so overwhelmed with joy. We kept moving forward with the wedding planning, and suddenly the countdown was down to just under a month. I came home from work one day expecting dinner or at least a hello, but she was not there. I called thinking maybe she got stuck at the office, but that was not it. She picked up and calmly told me she was at her grandmother's place in another state, and just like that she said she no longer wanted to get married and she was not coming back home. I was stunned, trying to make sense of what she said. I kept calling but her phone was off. I tried her grandmother but got nothing. What about our wedding? What about our child? What about everything we had built? I got no answers, nothing at all. For 3 days I was a ghost of myself, could not eat, could not sleep, just lost. Then on the 4th day she came back and without saying a single word to me started packing her belongings. She did not look at me, she did not explain. She left and later sent an email saying she could not be with me anymore without offering any reason. I reached out to her sister asking for an explanation and she claimed to know nothing but gave me a phone number for their mother, which was strange since Nancy always told me her mother was out of her life due to substance abuse. Still I called the number and her mother told me I was the third guy Nancy had done this to. She explained Nancy would pretend to be the perfect partner until she got everything she could, then claim abuse and run to her religious grandmother's place to start the cycle over. Apparently she had lost pregnancies before and always made sure to leave the guy broken and drained. Weeks passed. I was still reeling. I had dropped 20 pounds. Work was going badly. My employer had warned me to get it together and my relatives were furious because they had spent money on travel for the wedding and I had to cancel everything with less than a month's notice, which meant losing every deposit. I had nothing left. I checked the joint bank account and it was overdrawn by $2,000. There was no way I could keep up with the mortgage payments. I hit rock bottom and the sadness started turning into something darker. I was angry, the kind of angry that could get a man locked up if he was not careful, so I forced myself to rein it in. About 6 weeks after she disappeared, I got a text from her. She told me she had lost the baby and blamed me, said I had caused her too much stress and now her daughter was gone. Daughter I did not even know. We were expecting a girl and now I was being blamed for everything. That was it. I felt like tearing her entire world apart, not just getting even but destroying everything that mattered to her. I drank for a few days to get past the gut punch sadness, then came back stronger, ready to act. She still had a bunch of things at the house I was about to lose anyway, so I started boxing up her stuff, and that was when I came across two things: her resume and her personal checkbook. Her resume was full of lies top to bottom, so I created a new email under a fake name and sent a long message to her employer breaking it all down point by point. Then I signed every check in her checkbook, ripped them out, and drove half an hour to the roughest part of the city I could find, left them spread out on the sidewalk in front of a convenience store that stayed open all night. It was the kind of place where bad things happened, and I figured it was only a matter of time before someone found them and tried to use them. Then I went back home and tossed the rest of her stuff into the trash, everything except her laptop, which I decided to keep. A couple of weeks passed and then she called. I let it ring. I had nothing more to say to her. She left a voicemail saying she lost her job because of company downsizing, but I knew that was not the truth, and honestly it made me grin a bit. Then about 2 weeks later I started getting mail from some kind of district attorney office program that deals with bounce checks, and that made me grin even harder. Then I noticed the car registration renewal paperwork for her vehicle coming in, so I shredded it all just for the satisfaction, and while I was at it I filled out a change of address form at the post office and had her mail forwarded to a homeless shelter, because why not? I found out through someone we both used to know that since she was not working anymore she had been crashing at different people's houses and getting money from that overly religious grandmother of hers, which made me snap again. So I grabbed her old laptop and made an email address that was only one number different from her real one, and then I sent that grandmother a video I had of Nancy doing things to herself and titled the message something like, "Hey grandma, here is a video I filmed for work, hope it uploads okay." And not long after that I got a reply from the old lady calling me disgusting and saying if Nancy was going to act like that she would not be getting a dime anymore, and I could not believe how perfectly that played out: embarrassment and money problems at once. A couple weeks after that I got a call from one of those rent-to-own places asking about Nancy's furniture. Turns out everything she had was being rented, and she told them it was still with me, but I told them I did not have it and did not know where it went. They did not like that answer, but I did not budge. That same night I dragged all that stuff out back and set it on fire. $4,200 down the drain, not my problem anymore. Sometime later I heard she managed to land another job, but before I could figure out what to do with that new info I got word that she had been arrested for stealing from her employer. She got caught taking $5,000 from the petty cash box, and that was the best thing I had heard in years. She did it to herself. Time went by and I found out she only stayed in jail a few days because her grandmother bailed her out, but it did not end there. She ended up pleading guilty and now she has a felony record with 3 years probation and she has to pay the money back. Completely wrecked. I finally felt like I could breathe again and decided that was enough revenge for me. A couple of months after that, a repossession company called asking if I knew where Nancy was because they were trying to take her car back, and I could not help but laugh. I made a couple of quick calls, got the address she was staying at and passed it along to them. They offered me a $100 reward, but I told them to keep it. I said this one is free. She is now a convicted felon without a job, raising a baby on her own that she had with some random guy living in an apartment with her brother and his girlfriend. Meanwhile, I am married to a great woman. We have a beautiful little girl and my life could not be better than yesterday. Out of the blue, I get a message on social media from Nancy saying congratulations on the marriage and the baby and that she was glad I was happy. I wrote back and told her exactly where to go, and then she blocked me. And you know what, that felt pretty damn good because sometimes taking the path no one recommends is exactly what your heart needs.